Welcome, everybody, to the Educator's Room. Thank you guys for joining us for all of our potential writers for the Educator's Room. And it is really my pleasure as the CEO, Francesca Warren, to welcome you guys to the work that we do. If you've made it to this step, you have proved the ability to not only write great pieces, but you are interested in actually creating dialogue about education. This is something that you don't find a lot because in education, we have found that many people who write for us don't necessarily or have not necessarily been in um, the classroom to accurately tell that teachers are the experts in education. Before I get started, I want to make sure that I give you a little bit of background about not only the work of the Educators Room, but where we come from. So, the Educators Room was founded in 2012 by myself. I was a high school English teacher in the metro Atlanta area, and I had been a high school English teacher for over a decade at that point. And I was frustrated because I felt like a lot of the stories and a lot of the things that were happening in education were not properly being told because the people in power really had not been teachers and they were not telling an accurate story. So one morning I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm going to start a blog. And the blog is just going to tell people what it's really like to be a teacher. And I really had that mindset for the first 6 months, and nobody was reading it. And I was just writing about stories that I felt people needed to know. And then I started to get on Twitter, and my opportunity on Twitter led me to really connect with other people who felt like teachers were the experts in education. And based on that, they said, hey, I would love to write for your publication. And that kind of went through some iterations. And probably the first 3 months, I started to have guest writers. And when we started, nobody was reading what we wrote. And then there was an article called The Exhaustion of the American Teacher. And a guy from Texas reached out to me and said, hey, I've been reading what you write. I'm really interested. I'd love to submit a piece. He submitted that piece, and that piece blew up. It had over 1 million views in a day. And from there, the Educators Room was born. We are a teacher-led organization. We do not take big sponsors. People do not tell us what to write about. And because of that, we are the only publication on the web that is 100%. We employ teachers, but also we are 100% teacher-led. My role as CEO for the first 8 years of our publication, most of the people who wrote for me were people that I had became my friends. And we did some great things. So in the first 8 years of the publication, we were featured in the Washington Post, I'm sorry, several times. We've been featured on radio shows, podcasts. Several of our writers have used what they've written to write books and be published nationally, as well as locally. And because of this, we have really grown our readership to a point where we've just hit 13 million views. So one of the things that I look for writers, because I personally do this. So I do have a team now. I'm a very small team, but I purposely go out and find voices in education that I feel like can contribute to a space to have conversations about education. We have done a lot of revising what we mean, and as we go through our next strategic plan, it has become apparent that we want to make sure that we are highlighting the voice of teachers who traditionally might not be heard in other venues. So as we go through and as we work on this and as we do this, we sometimes write about articles, write about topics that are uncomfortable. We write about things that people may or may not agree with. The goal is we say what's on our mind. So you might see something printed by the Educators Room and you say, wow, I didn't think about it like that. I don't agree, but I didn't think about it like that. And that's okay. Um, and that is the cornerstone of our community and our what we do. So if you are writing for the educators room, there's a couple of things that you need to know. I think I've said it starting off is that number one, this is a teacher led organization. Our mission is simple and straightforward for so many teachers. We empower teachers to be the experts in education. We write articles, events, social media, and we advocate for honest dialogue with teachers about how to improve public education. This is something that we hold fast to. We do not veer from it. We do not let people who have either not been current educators or retired educators write for us. Who we are. So we really want our writers to be thinkers, independent thinkers who want to use their voice. They're able to investigate, discuss, and write about a variety of topics in education. Our newsroom does not operate in that we tell you what to write. We really ask. So we do have an editorial calendar of some of the things that will be standard no matter the day and time, but we really need people who are critical thinkers and who are critical writers and are independent thinkers. Um, you might have an opinion on something that is totally not what the majority feels. That's okay. We are focused on developing that voice and going from there. I mentioned in the last segment that a lot of our writers have been able to use their writing for the educators room and go to the next phase of their career. We have published as an organization 5 books for teachers. So we feel like we are the space, we are the conduit in which teachers really find their passion and they go the next steps. The next thing is onboarding for the educators room. First and foremost, if you've gotten to this point, we've asked you to write a sample article. And that is because we do not want people on our team who cannot write. We get paid through page views. And so it is critical that the new people that we bring on are good writers. We do not spend a lot of time trying to correct articles or going through 5 or 6 iterations until we get it right. Of course, there will be some things that you have to revise. That's fine, but we are dedicated to making sure that um, the potential people we bring on are already good writers. Once you are onboarded and you go through, watch this video, you will have a link for an online course. And we ask that all our writers to take this online course about how to be a contract writer for our publication. A contract writer, you are not an employee of the educators room. You can write for other publications, but we will not publish anything that is not original. So if it's been published other places, we will not publish it. And in the rare case that we publish something that's already been published on like a small blog of that you own, we once you publish it with us, we ask that you not publish it anywhere else, and that will be in a contract that we send to you. Some of our writers who have wanted to write books, they have taken an article that they've done for the educators room and they've expounded upon it, or they've made it deeper, or they've given more credence to it, and that is what they've used. Once you go through the online course, you will get initiated into our newsroom. And in this newsroom, you'll meet the other writers. We're going on our 10-year anniversary in May. And so I have some writers who've written for me for 9 years. I have some writers who's written for me for 9 months, some who's written me for 9 days. And so we always turn them over. But what we believe is that people come back to us for a reason. The benefits of being a contract writer. So this is something for those of you who are writers, you guys know this. First off is to build your writing portfolio. The second thing is to connect with like-minded professionals. We have writers from all over the world, all over the world. We have somebody in Canada. We have somebody in the continent of Africa. We have people in California, Georgia, New York, all over, just all over. And last but certainly not least, to build your professional learning community. I've learned a lot through helping writers, being here for writers, and my time is in education. Certainly, we want to talk pay. For every article that you write, it is $35. We pay it by month. So let's say that you write 10 articles for the month of June. You will be paid $350, and it will be sent to you via PayPal or another. If you want us to send a paper check, we will do that. And you are not required to write 10 articles because you're an independent contractor. So we ask that you commit to 1 to 2 articles per month. And if you go without 3 months without writing, we take you off of our current list of writers, just because we have so many writers who come on, and it's important for us to go through and for us to do that. And also, if you're writing for the educators room, we work to build our writers' capacity. So we might send you to a conference, we might send you to a training. Send you to a lot of different things. And this is true for any type of organization. So we will provide you with professional learning opportunities. As you go through and as you do this and as you become a part of our network, we want to encourage you. We want to thank you for being here. And we want to really encourage you to use this writing as a venue for whatever you want to do when you grow up. Or when you in your next career or in your current career. So we thank you. We appreciate you. And the next step will be for us to put you on your online course. Have a great day.